All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Teacher Lady Show. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Behind the Book. I'm Miss Erica, the Teacher Lady, your fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. Now, every single week on the Teacher Lady Show, we have a new topic. And of course, we use picture books to be able to support that topic, okay? Now, this week's topic is all about raising creative children. We want our children to think outside the box. We want them to have perseverance and be able to create new ideas with the things around them. And of course, as stated, we're using picture books to be able to accomplish that. Today's Behind the Book review is on the book The World Belongs to Us by Jacqueline Woodson and illustrated by Leo Espinoza. If you have not done so, be sure to check out the Read Aloud first on the Teacher Lady Reads playlist so that you have context. But for now, we're going to jump into this Behind the Book review where I will be going over the glows, what I think was done well, the grows, what I think could have been done differently, who this book is for, how do you utilize it as a resource to raise more creative children, and more, all in this episode of Behind the Book, where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. Summary in my own words. The World Belongs to Us is almost this nostalgic story of summer fun and creativity. It is the story of childhood, of building together, of playing together, and of having fun and enjoying your youth. It is definitely a feel-good story that takes us back, right, to when we were that age, and just overall the reminder that one of the most beautiful attributes about children is their ability to explore. Take-home message and target age group. I would say the take-home message is really a reminder to enjoy your youth, enjoy your friendships, enjoy your community, enjoy the summer. You know, it really is almost this dedication to childhood and to fun and to play and to creativity. And so I would say the take-home message is to love being young, embrace it, and do the most, right? Enjoy every single day of your time as a child. And here were some examples in the story of what that meant. And so I really love the book. But overall, I would say it's the take-home message of being vibrant and staying young. Now, in terms of age group, I would go 5 years old and up. I believe that at that age, the child will be able to fully understand the context of the story, but I absolutely loved it. Who this book is for and who should be adding it as a resource to this library. I would say that this is a staple book. Y'all know when I say a staple book, it means that one book that you can build around it to create a library. The book is very diverse in terms of the images. It's very playful. It's poetic. And so overall, I feel like any child would love this story, or at least should have access to it. I feel like loving a story is definitely personal preference, but I do feel like having access to this book covers diversity, it covers youthfulness and enjoyment, and it definitely gives examples of what it means to be creative for all those children that are like, I'm bored, or for the ones that we're trying to move away from all of that screen time. So definitely some ideas around what child might enjoy this book, or if you're an educator, why you should think about adding this book to your collection. Glows. There were so many glows about this story. The pictures were super well done, very diverse, really just beautiful. The words were poetically written. There was a flow, almost this poetry where Jacqueline she kind of repeats this stanza in Brooklyn in the summer not so long ago, which I love. It has a beautiful flow to it. So the writing itself is definitely a glow for me. The children playing, the ways in which they played were all glows for me. And the reason being is a lot of times children need an example of what could be different. Like, okay, we're not doing screen time, then what do we do? And, for a lot of communities today, it's not necessarily safe to have our children playing outside in the same way. And that was one of the things that made me really sad. But I do think that it's still this beautiful reminder of what it could mean to play outside with your child, of what it could mean for your child to create something out of what other people would consider to be trash and just let their brains explore. So many glows in that way as well. Grows. The only grow that I have is that the author did not tell us who these people were. So it says, in Brooklyn in the summer not so long ago, it was easy to believe that anything was possible when a guy from our block was good enough to play for the Mets and a girl from our block sang on a big stage in Manhattan, and a woman someone's cousin knew wrote a whole book about Brooklyn. Who are these people? Who is the baseball player she's talking about? Who is the singer she's talking about? And who is the author she's talking about? I think it's so important whenever we share these figures or these people in the books to make sure that we are explaining who they are so that children have the reference and so that even adults that read it, because I genuinely don't know. I'm sure I can do research and relatively easily find out, but I would have loved for there to be a nugget about who these people were that had this honorable mention. Nevertheless, an excellent story that was beautifully written and a reminder that I need to play more myself. Okay. Discussion points to have with your child. When it comes to raising children and we want them to be creative, I would ask my child to point out what were some of the ways that she was creative in the story. What were some of the things that children did when they were what would be considered to be bored if they didn't have access to that? What were some of the things that they reinvented? There was a lot of them taking trash or boxes to make forts or to make, different tools. And I would ask your child to start to point out some of those things because, again, children need direction. When you're trying to mold a child, you're trying to teach a child, you're trying to show them kind of what is possible. They need examples. Even as adults, the reason why we feel so seen when there is another Black woman in office or in a position of leadership, or, we feel so seen when somebody from our community is doing something phenomenal is because we need examples. We need to see that it is possible for people like us to flourish in this way. And so for you, that would be your children, right? The book is filled with children. And so in what ways can your child connect to the characters of the stories, and what ideas come out in terms of their own creativity? What can they do instead of watching TV or playing on the iPad? What can be reinvented or recreated when you think that it's trash? What are some ways to kind of get those creative juices flowing? And I feel like all of those are valid ways to have a more robust conversation with your child about this story. Final thoughts. Wow. My final thoughts are that this book was very well done. It encourages you to try to make something new. It encourages community and friendship and diversity and so much creativity. And I really enjoyed this one. I encourage you to click that link in the description to order your copy. I also ask that you check out my books as an author and illustrator. I have multiple books that I think you might enjoy. And those books encourage the program called the Empathy Library. Now, the Empathy Library is a pay-it-forward program to get books books to children in need on purpose, okay? The goal is to get them intentional libraries. So you can go on the website, check out the books, check out the Empathy Library. Be sure to purchase your copy of The World Belongs to Us. And until next time, you remember to enjoy the moment or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.